Hello, my friends. Welcome back. Welcome to episode 2 of whatever this is. Do we call it a podcast? Maybe. I don't know at this point. It is 3 a.m. Excuse the mess in the background or how disheveled everything looks. I am in the midst of preparing for some construction work that will be taking place starting likely later today. However, it's kind of been postponed and the date has been changed a couple times already, so it's not 100% guaranteed, but I just want to make sure that I'm extra prepared. And anyone who's had to sort of live and move around like renovation understands that it is an annoying process. Just living out of boxes or suitcases or whatever while trying to pack and move things around, it's very annoying. I think I get into the habit often of overthinking how I'm going to record these videos and how I'm going to go over the topics that I want to talk about and how I'm going to like make everything cohesive and interesting and whatever. Like I tend to overthink everything, and I think that this has definitely been one of my biggest hindrances when it came to trying content creation in the past. As I've mentioned before, I'm not new to content creation per se. Like I've tried it before a couple of times. There was one time where I was starting to grow my old channel and I felt boxed in and trapped by the subject matter, and I quit before I had a chance to really like blossom or make it grow into anything. Like I don't 100% regret that, but there's a part of me that thinks like, what if I had just stuck to that and grew it, then maybe I would have been able to branch out afterwards. Then there was another attempt that I made at YouTube, like I think 2024. I decided I'm gonna try and upload videos every week for like a year and see how that goes. And it was just terrible. Like nothing was happening. Like there was no momentum. The videos themselves weren't necessarily like, it's not that they weren't cohesive, it's just that it was very hard to box me into anything. Like I think I just sat down in front of the camera and just did a life advice, kind of like just talking and philosophizing, is that even a word? I don't know, over whatever I felt like at the time. It was usually like life stuff, life advice, sometimes like talking about the things that I was facing on my journey, like the fear of being seen and like the imposter syndrome and like all that kind of stuff. But like nothing was really happening. Like whenever I did get any engagement, it was actually pretty good, and people would give me genuine feedback, but like it was like in terms of actual growth and momentum, like I kind of just gave up. I was like, after 6 months and then 8 months, I was like, this isn't really working. And then I realized the year had passed and I was like, oh, wow, okay. Like, I think in my head, I had this romanticized idea that maybe I would get to like a year and be monetized. Like that would have really been the ideal. I was thinking that's plenty of time to get monetized, right? And then I realized the year had passed and I wasn't even close. Like, wasn't even close to like any of the requirements for being monetized. This time, like I don't know, I don't even understand why I'm trying this again. Like I was uploading my VODs here and then I decided this is not gonna work. Like I need to put them on another channel, because I did have streams on this channel before. They were art streams like years ago. I did like a couple of them or so. Like I mentioned before, I had like I was so tired and like almost falling asleep on stream and could barely concentrate, and like surprise, I had like nutrient deficiencies, but like it's okay. Like we've fixed that now, we're good. I think I've returned to really like putting an effort into making social media content at a really awkward time because it's like the YouTube algorithm has changed so much in a way that I really don't like. I feel like starting out as a new channel or like rebuilding from scratch or starting from the bottom is very brutal. Like I don't know, maybe this is me being naive because I've never like successfully grown a channel like to a big successful kind of like platform yet, so I don't have that experience to speak on like what it was like in the past. I already have like the outsider view right now, but honestly, like YouTube, the algorithm feels different, the platform is changing, the content is changing. I'm looking at the things that I feel compelled to click on as well. And I'm looking at the things that are popular right now. And my algorithm and my feed is weird now because since I've started streaming, the content that I'm consuming has changed. I'm in this sort of world, the streamer world now. And like, when you're in your bubble and you're in your own world and you have your own sort of like ecosystem of things and like fandoms and like mini worlds that connect together to make your experience and your sort of microcosm. No, I don't know what to call it, but your own kind of like system of like what makes you and your experience and the way you see things what it is. And you discover something new either by chance or by accident or by like changing a thought or an idea or a habit, and you realize, oh my gosh, this whole world has existed outside of my POV, and like there's so much going on here that like I'm just not aware of, and it makes you think of how big and how vast this reality is outside of our individual POVs and like worldviews. And I think about that a lot now. The streamer world is crazy, man, and like just seeing just interacting with it, seeing how things are, and like it's changed my thoughts and ideas towards like how I want to approach actually making content. And I've also realized, I mean, I kind of knew this already. I think anyone who creates content knows this already, but you have to approach how you create content on each platform differently. And yes, you can recycle content and you can re-upload to different places, but generally speaking, it's like you have to have a different mindset with each platform, if that makes any sense at all. Like, and I think that my attitude towards like YouTube has been changing and developing because of how my algorithm has changed, but also how the platform itself has changed. I'm sorry, I'm sounding vague and like waffly, just bear with me here. What's been going on Twitch lately has been quite something. Like, I literally just hit affiliate on that platform and now everything is kind of crashing and burning, or like I guess it's been crashing and burning, and I'm talking like relatively, like generally speaking, Twitch is doing okay. Like, people are still streaming on Twitch, people are still watching Twitch, like people are still watching streamers on Twitch. Like, it's still an active platform, things are still like going ahead. But after the whole like TwitchCon debacle, which was like horrifying to say the least, and also just other things that have been going on the platform that just make me feel weird at the idea of like making a push to grow on there, like making me question everything. And I mean, here's the thing, you can say that about every social media platform. There is corruption in the corporate sector, in the higher ups, in the like, even amongst most of the creators. Like, sadly, there is a lot of or most of the top creators, sorry, like I won't say the majority of creators in general, forgive me, it's like okay, I said it was 3 a.m, it's like 4 a.m now. It's not that Twitch is more corrupt than other platforms, it's that what we're seeing now, all this stuff is happening at once, and it's all creating this culmination of just like BS. Like, also, I find that the platform itself it's not being moderated very well. And when I say moderation, I don't mean like mods, like like mods that you get within stream. The user experience, the like how it's being run in general, it's not being moderated as well as it could be. I think I will save that conversation for when I'm more qualified to speak on it in depth and in detail, when I can give a more sound and knowledgeable breakdown of what it is that I mean. So aside from all of this is a time of year that is very reflective for me, because it is coming up to November 20, which means my birthday is coming. I'm dreading it, but not for the reason that you think. I don't mind getting a little bit older each year. It's a privilege. It's something that I will never ever take for granted, and I will always be thankful for and use as a time to reflect and over my wins, my losses, my goals, my just everything, Then again, I don't just save those reflections for a birthday or New Year's or anything like that. I try to reflect on these things on a regular basis. I'm a thinker. I overthink, but I also it's not necessarily a flaw. It's also a strength, I think, because it makes me lean or tend towards being more introspective, and I don't need to wait for a special occasion in order to do that. Now, I'm going to trauma dump for a little bit, so I just want to issue a trigger warning that I'm going to be talking a little bit about mental health and that kind of stuff. So just please be mindful, and do feel free to skip forward, ahead, or click away if need be. So I definitely am dreading my birthday because lately I have been dealing with a lot of anxiety. I've had at different points in my life anxiety that has manifested itself in different ways at different points in my life based on what I was going through at the time or whatever it is. This time I have gotten these symptoms that are very akin to something called agoraphobia or agoraphobia, I think. I don't know which one is the correct pronunciation. I usually say agoraphobia, but I've been struggling to socialize, meet friends, and go outside other than for work. And thankfully, I'm very lucky that my job allows me to work close to home. So most of the time, it's local. This agoraphobia was definitely I guess triggered by some stress to do with work and anxiety around my goals and things that I've wanted to do and thought I would have achieved by now, and also just thinking obsessively about goals that I have felt stuck on for a really long time. I'll probably explain better in a future video, but right now, because it's still such a tender spot, I'm not going to go into any specific details. It's nothing major. I guess for some people they would think of it as something really simple or basic, but for me it's a really big thing, simply just because everybody has trauma. I have a lot of, I guess, childhood and even adulthood trauma related to that thing. I think with this anxiety spell as well, it has filled me with so much guilt, because this is something that I have had to a lesser degree in the past, more so when I suffered with debilitating depression. I've mentioned it a few times over the span of I don't know, ever since I started making videos. I've mentioned it a couple times here or there. I don't want to mention it too much, but I'm just putting it in here in passing. And it made it hard for me to socialize, to go out, to spend time with friends, and to just be outside. Outside, it just felt very scary, very unsafe, very gross. I currently live in a big, densely populated city, temperate weather, very gloomy, very damp a lot of the time. And it's getting cold now as well, and dark a lot earlier on in the day. So this is a lot to deal with. I do supplement with vitamin D3 and K2 and make sure to keep up on top of all these things. That kind of helps me with my mood. And spoiler alert, that was what was causing me to be so sleepy in my past streams and making it difficult for me to focus. Overall, I think that just the thought of me being worried and just spending my birthday in a place that I didn't want to be on my birthday, and also just hyperfixating and not being able to be regulated enough to just focus on celebrating and enjoying my birthday. I think that's what's making me dread it the most. That being said, it's a feeling that will pass. I will be okay, and I will find some way to make up for it in the future when I am more regulated. Sorry to put a dampener on the mood there. Now I'm about to make it a little bit worse, but also kind of funny, especially seeing as this is something that happened to me that other people can sort of laugh at, but also it's not that funny. It's just a little bit infuriating. So basically, I've mentioned this before a couple of times as well. I only started streaming games like a few months ago, like earlier this year. It was kind of a spur of the moment thing. Everything kind of fell in place for it to happen very quickly. And the PC that I have is a budget PC, and I made a conscious decision to do this mainly because I bought another PC that was more expensive, but it came really badly damaged, and with some nudging from my best friend, I returned it. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm actually quite confrontation averse, and because I didn't want to deal with the hassle of all the returns and complaining and doing all of this, getting this paperwork, all this and that, I very almost didn't send the old PC back. Like, the actual machine was working, it was running fine, but there was a whole ass broken glass panel that kind of shattered as it came out of the box. It hadn't been posted properly. There was no fragile tape on the box, and so that was not my fault. It wasn't handled correctly during transit. Long story short, I managed to get that all sorted out with some help from my best friend, who encouraged me and pushed me to make the return and get the better deal on the PC that I have currently now. Now, my PC doesn't have like super amazing specs. Like, some stuff is really good, like the CPU, and it has a decent amount of RAM for what I want to do, and a couple of other things that will probably carry me a long way. But the GPU, for one, definitely needs changing. It's outdated. I can play a lot of games that I like, but not on high quality or on full or ultra settings. And I really wanted to get a new GPU first as my first upgrade, because I wanted to learn to upgrade my PC by myself as I go, part by part. Some people might say that's not the wisest way to do it. You have to just buy everything and do it in one go. Get somebody to help you and then like do the whole build at once, future-proof yourself, blah, blah, blah. I like to learn things in detail and understand them in detail and take my time. It's not like I'm gonna upgrade one part like every 6 months. Like, I'll upgrade one part every couple months or so. I think the graphics card is one of the more expensive parts, so getting that out of the way first is a really good shot. Most of everything else will not take very long to upgrade, and I do have support from the people who built this PC. So anyways, I ordered this graphics card that was not a super recent card, nothing too flashy, so that it doesn't freaking blow up my motherboard or like completely fry my system, but something that was decent enough that it was a boost and an upgrade that could still run a lot of the games that I wanted to play today. It wasn't too outdated. It was recent, so like it was recent but not too recent, if that makes sense. Basically a decent upgrade without being incompatible with the rest of my system. I found somebody who was reselling and refurbishing parts, and they had a lot of good reviews spanning 2-3 years back, and they seemed to have a good selection of product. So I decided to go with them and I ordered the card. Now, when the card came, everything looked good, but as soon as I started cutting open the plastic, I noticed something was wrong. The box looked really dirty on the inside, which I was like, maybe like that's a storage issue, I don't know. But then I saw this really weird, like, and I'm sorry for this description. If you're eating or drinking anything, please put it down and just like chew and swallow whatever you have in your mouth. So this hair, I see this hair under the plastic in the box, and it looks either like a pube or a beard hair or of some kind. I know that sometimes they look quite similar. I thought, oh my God, this is kind of gross. And I kind of tried to move back carefully, but the hair just ended up blowing onto the floor. And I just like got the vacuum out and started vacuuming like crazy. I was so icked out. So I was like, okay, the box looks really disgusting. And there were mystery grease stains. I was like, I'm not touching this thing anymore without gloves. So I bust out the gloves and I start pulling out the box. It absolutely reeks to high heaven of weed. Now, I am 420 friendly, but I am not a chronic. I don't use on a regular basis, or I haven't used it. I'm not totally against it. I don't judge people who do partake, but this is absolutely unprofessional to have it just stinking up something that literally, it's like, how can a box for a freaking GPU be smelling like that? That is crazy. And it was strong too, straight out the box, straight out the packaging. And then I opened it, and the actual, like, the compartments inside, like the inner box wasn't too bad. Like, it looked a lot fresher. So I was like, oh, thank goodness, because I was really worried. But you know, I was right to be worried. I pulled open this thing and I was checking to make sure that everything that was supposed to be there was in there and everything looked good. I flip open the foldy down part of the inner box. I have a look in the actual compartment where the card is. It's wrapped in its original bubble wrap thing, and that's another thing I forgot to mention. It was indeed the original box. Everything was original. It just looked hella sketchy, like it wasn't taken care of properly. And that should have been a warning to me, because when I opened the bubble wrap and I looked inside, I saw this card it was caked throughout with this mystery brown dusty gunk, lots of cat hair, like just disgusting. Like, even for a card that's more than a couple years old, like, for it to look that bad, it had to be sitting in a system that was either open or it was in a really dirty room or house. Like, it came from a hoarder house type situation. It was absolutely disgusting. I didn't even want to try to put it in my PC to see if it would run. There was a part of me that was just like, maybe I should just like fix it, try and clean it myself, see if I can at least get it to work, or see if I can figure this out. It's giving the PC situation all over again when it came with the broken glass. But then I stopped myself. I was like, no, if I try to fix it myself, I'm not a refurbisher or anything like that. Like, this thing hadn't even, like, whoever was in charge of like the cleaning and the refurbishing part, they didn't even do any compressed air, like nothing. And I thought to myself, if I try and do this myself, I could end up making the situation worse, and then that will mess up things for me in terms of getting a refund. So no, I have to send this back. I took loads of pictures and I sent it back, and luckily there was no dispute. I sent a message to the seller like, hey, because sometimes people run these refurbishing businesses with more than one person. There's like a third party that deals with the packaging, the cleaning, all that kind of stuff. So I was just like, let me send these pictures to him just in case he's not aware of what's going on. And he indeed sounded shocked when he replied. He was like, I am so sorry. I don't know how this guy has sent it to you in this condition. I've never seen anything like that. Really apologizing profusely. Processed the return and refund with no issues at all. But now I also do not have the graphics card that I wanted. And if I had, I would have probably done like a special birthday stream or something. Played a couple of games that I have on my list that I haven't really been able to play yet because of my outdated GPU, but it's okay. Like, when the time comes, I'll get that done. I guess it just wasn't time for that this time. I also almost got scammed like literally yesterday while apartment hunting, but that's a different story for a different day. I guess that's it for the meantime. That's all I have to report right now. Thank you guys for checking in. I am definitely starting to get a little bit sleepy now, but I still have packing and moving of stuff, a few more things to do before I pass out and go to sleep for a few hours. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to check out my VODs channel, it is somewhere probably linked in the description, or just head to my channel. My TikTok and Twitch are also linked below. Thank you guys again, and I will see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye.